The year was 1978, and the Amazon rainforest stretched endlessly like a living labyrinth of green, a place older than memory itself. Beneath the towering canopy, sunlight barely touched the ground. The air was heavy with dampness, carrying the constant drone of insects and the cries of unseen creatures. Yet behind the beauty lurked something darker, something that whispered in every shadow. Along the Rio Vuro, a remote river hidden deep in the forest's heart. 6 travelers paddled their canoes through the slow-moving waters. They were outsiders, explorers, traders, and dreamers chasing discovery and fortune. Among them were Daniel Harris, a young English anthropologist obsessed with uncontacted tribes, Miguel Santos, a Brazilian guide hardened by jungle life, Rosa, a Peruvian nurse collecting medicinal plants, and 3 traders seeking riches. None of them truly understood the danger of where they were. Miguel's voice trembled as he warned, This river belongs to the Yuru Kai. They don't speak, they don't bargain, they hunt men. The jungle seemed to hold its breath. The insect chorus faded. The river grew eerily silent, and then, with a hiss of air, the first arrow flew. It struck a trader in the throat, silencing him instantly. Another arrow buried itself in Rosa's arm. Panic erupted. From the shadows burst painted figures, skin streaked in red and black. Faces hidden behind masks carved from wood and bone. Their war cries split the night as arrows rained down. One by one, the travelers fell, spears dragging them into the water, axes splitting skulls. Daniel, Miguel, and Luis, the last surviving trader, leapt from their canoe and clawed their way onto the far bank. Behind them, the river was a slaughterhouse of broken bullets and floating bodies. Miguel's voice cracked, whisperation, "Run! Do not stop!" And so they ran, plunging into the endless maze of green. The jungle swallowed them whole. Branches clawed at their skin, roots tripped their feet. Shadows seemed to move with silent malice. The air was suffocating, heavy with the metallic scent of blood. Behind them, faint shapes moved, painted hunters, masked and silent, always just beyond sight. The Yuru Kai never gave up their prey. Hours blurred, their legs screamed, but fear drove them forward. They stumbled into a clearing where an old hut stood. Half rotten and devoured by vines. Scattered around it were bones, hundreds of them, skulls stacked like trophies, ribs dangling like macabre ornaments. The smell of death was everywhere. Miguel's voice was low and broken. This is what they do. For centuries, everyone who enters ends like this. Then came the sound that froze their blood. Drums. Thum, thum. Slow, steady, echoing like the heartbeat of the jungle itself. The 3 men clung to one another, but the rhythm grew faster, louder. Then came the whistles, one to the left, another to the right. Tribe was circling them, herding them deeper into the forest. By nightfall, exhaustion claimed them, collapsing near a fallen tree. Louis broke down. They'll skin us alive. I won't let them take me. I'll kill myself first. Miguel struck him across the face. No, we fight until the end. But even Miguel's eyes betrayed hopelessness. And then came the final terror. Footsteps, dozens of them closing in. Torches flared in the trees. Surrounding them. From the shadows, the Yuru Kai emerged, silent, patient predators. At their head stood a towering figure, his mask carved like a jaguar's face. He raised a spear and slammed it into the earth, and the chanting began low, guttural, rising like the roar of demons. Louis snapped. Screaming, he charged with his knife. For a heartbeat, it looked as if he might break through, but a spear pierced his stomach, bursting out his back. The chanting grew louder as they dragged his twitching body away. Miguel and Daniel seized the moment to run, crashing blindly through the forest. Hours passed in terror until the roar of water reached their ears. The river again. But now a deadly torrent over jagged rocks. "Jump!" Miguel shouted. They hurled themselves into the black water as arrows hissed overhead. The current swallowed them, battering them against hidden stones. Daniel nearly drowned, clawing for air until he broke the surface. He saw Miguel clinging to a branch, his face pale, blood running down his side. Somehow the river spat them out onto calmer banks. Gasping, half dead, Daniel whispered, "We made it. We escaped." But Miguel didn't answer. With shaking hands, he pulled aside his shirt. An arrowhead jutted from his ribs, buried deep. He coughed blood. Even the river is theirs. And then Daniel saw the torches lining the bank. Silent, patient, waiting. The Yuru Kai had followed them all along. Miguel's scream ended as another spear struck, pinning him to the ground. Daniel fled into the jungle, stumbling blindly. The forest betrayed him at every step. Roots clawed his ankles, vines strangled his arms. Still he ran until he burst into a clearing and froze. At its center loomed a massive totem, carved from a single tree. Skulls and bones lashed together with vines painted with fresh blood. At its base, cages stood, filled with scatters from decades past. Explorers, traders, missionaries. Their fate had been the same. The hunters emerged, encircling him. The Jaguar masked leader stepped forward, lifting a black obsidian blade. Daniel dropped to his knees, sobbing. Time, please, I only wanted to learn, I never meant harm. The tribe did not answer. They did not understand, or did not care. To them he was not a man, he was prey. Time, two warriors dragged him to the totem, pressing his face into the bones of those who had come before. The chanting rose to a deafening roar, drums beating like thunder. Time, Daniel screamed as the blade descended, and then, only darkness. Weeks later, a new expedition ventured into the jungle, searching for the missing travelers. Time, they found broken canoes drifting on the river, scraps of clothing torn by thorns, and traces of blood. Following the trail, they reached a clearing. There, beneath the towering totem, freshly painted in crimson, lay a skull. Its jaw was twisted in a silent scream. Its empty socket stared endlessly at the sky. Time, the Uruk-hai had claimed another soul, and the jungle whispered its eternal truth: no one leaves.